May 18th, 1968, the first wave of Hot Wheels toys hit store shelves in the United States. Its impact on not just the toy industry, but car culture as well is impalpable. Soon, this would spread to the monster truck industry, playing a big factor in captivating the younger generation and setting the precedent for what we have today. From its early beginnings with the biggest team in monster trucks to becoming a household name in monster jams in the mid-2000s, whilst releasing tens of thousands of die-cast monster trucks. This is the story of the hottest metal cars in the world and their history with the monster truck business. This is the evolution of Hot Wheels. Our story begins in the year 1990, where a new toy line featuring Bigfoot was being worked on by Hot Wheels. During this initial concept phase, an idea was dreamt up of having the legendary and heroic Bigfoot face off against an evil and villainous foe. From that moment, the concept of Snakebite was born. Well, actually, according to this original concept image, it shows its original working name was actually Nemesis, with 3 S's at the end. It is unknown why the name was changed to Snakebite, as I think Nemesis, especially with the theme that they were going for with this truck, may have actually fitted a lot more. Anyway, the body was a regular truck with a custom hood shaped like a snake's head. Large fans protruded. Wait, what? Oh, fangs. I put fans. Large fangs protruded out the front of this truck, adding to its distinct look. Bigfoot was fully on board with this idea, converting one of their real-life trucks into the villainous Snakebite. They even developed backstories for the drivers, who played these characters that usually had alliteration in their names and snake-related terms, such as Gene Patterson playing the mysterious Colt Cobra character. With the partnership in full effect, Team Bigfoot and Hot Wheels enjoyed the success of the new Snakebite truck on the circuit and the first monster truck themed toys produced by the company. However, by 1993, the two companies had amicably decided to part ways for the time being. Mattel, the parent company to Hot Wheels, had their sights set on something big that would change their involvement with the monster truck industry forever. In late 1999, Mattel and Monster Jam signed on to a new deal that would go on to captivate the younger generation. The partnership saw Hot Wheels create the first ever die-cast Monster Jam trucks, which would be released in 2000. Only 4 trucks were part of this elusive die-cast line, those being Gravedigger, Goldberg, Sting, and WCW Nitro Machine. A very strange list, though Monster Jam's partnership with WCW during this time, and Gravedigger being the flagship truck of Monster Jam, was probably the reasoning for this group of trucks. To this day, these are some of the most exclusive and expensive trucks that you can buy on the market, usually selling for upwards of hundreds of dollars individually and even more so as a group. With them getting their foot in the door, 2001 saw Hot Wheels further expand, creating a line of trucks for the new season. 16 trucks would be released over the course of the year, with all but Gravedigger being all new, completely different trucks. These included popular names during the time, such as Predator, Wild Thing, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and many, many more. It also included 2 custom concepts, those 2 being Chillin' Villain and Vet King, the latter of which was the stepping stone for the brand's involvement in the sport itself, rather than just being a partner in business and manufacturer of merchandise. Vet King was a Hot Wheels original truck, designed by the team for the diecast line, and would subsequently go on to debut the following year in 2002, with their first official truck debuting on the real-life circuit, and a thriving merchandise line of new diecasts. Hot Wheels wanted to bring their brand to the forefront at the biggest event of them all. The third annual Monster Jam World Finals rolled into Sam Boyd Stadium on March 23rd, 2002, and Hot Wheels were ready to put their name in the game. Elton Depew would debut the first ever Hot Wheels monster truck at the World Finals, running on the High Roller chassis. Like virtually all Hot Wheels diecasts, the truck had a striking look. Its signature flames adorned the sides, with an awesome shade of blue and black and white logo really made the truck pop. Added with its signature wheel covers, the truck just had this gorgeous look. Its performance though was probably a little underwhelming, mainly in racing. Losing in round 2 to Blacksmith was unfortunate, and its freestyle run was filled with mechanical issues, though many remember the truck plowing through the camper and its violent wreck at the end of its run. In 2003, the truck was shelved, with its chassis reverting back to its original identity, High Roller. In saying that, the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, Illinois would hold a monster truck exhibit to promote the new film by Clear Channel Entertainment, that being Monster Trucks: The Science of Extreme Machines. In the exhibit, a PEI chassis would house the Hot Wheels body from 2003 to 2005. The success of Monster Jam's newfound popularity tying in with the toys was an added benefit to the two's success, and strengthened the relationship between Monster Jam and Hot Wheels. Not only that, but Hot Wheels would also begin working relationships with other independent teams in helping them create more creative and sometimes more iconic schemes for their trucks. For the upcoming 2004 season, Hot Wheels would have a hand in redesigning the following trucks: Rick Disharoon's Backdraft, Bruce Haney's Bad News Travels Fast, Dan Evans' Destroyer, and Mark Schrader's Devastator. Rick Disharoon's Backdraft is the most interesting, as like Vet King, the diecast predates the updated look by a year, whereas the others were released alongside their real-life counterparts. In 2004, the Hot Wheels truck would return to the sport, only this time for full-time competition. It would run on High Roller for the duration of the 2004 season, driven by Phil Foster. The truck would receive its first ever win in Pontiac, where Foster would win racing. For World Finals 5, Neil Elliott would be invited to compete at the World Finals driving that truck. The truck would debut a new scheme that honestly is probably my favorite out of the original Hot Wheels trucks. The red and yellow logo, along with the orange stripe, juxtaposed with a blue background and white and blue flames, just completed this truck's amazing new look. Like World Finals 3, Hot Wheels' performance at the World Finals was somewhat underwhelming, with a round 1 exit in racing. However, Elliott's freestyle performance was one of the best parts of the entire night. While nothing too spectacular, especially compared to the runs from later on in the show, it was a solid run all around that really made the fans know that Hot Wheels meant business. Later in the year, Chad Fortune would run a version of the truck in Europe on his soon-to-be Superman chassis. In 2005, Hot Wheels would return for another full-time season, this time being driven by a returning Guy Wood on the same chassis it had been running in previous years. However, for the second Pontiac show in March of that year, the late Rob Nell would drive Hot Wheels instead of Guy Wood. Meanwhile, a second Hot Wheels would be campaigned by Kevin Lewis, who would drive the truck on the Taurus 4 chassis. Neil Elliott would take the year off, leaving former Hot Wheels driver Phil Foster to take over the driving duties of Elliott's Maximum Destruction. Both trucks would unfortunately lose their signature wheel covers but keep the World Finals body. Speaking of which, Phil Foster would return to drive the truck in his first World Finals appearance at World Finals 6. His appearance though was unfortunately filled with mechanical gremlins, winning his race but being unable to advance due to breakage, and having more issues during his freestyle run. By the end of the year, Rob Nell returned to drive the truck in Quincy, Illinois and Sunrise, Florida that year. On the international tour, Frank Krimmel campaigned Hot Wheels on Kathy Winston's Suzuki truck in Arnhem, Netherlands, Milano, Italy, Helsinki, Finland, and Stockholm, Sweden. For the 2006 season opener in Montreal, Andy Slivko drove Hot Wheels as a last-minute fill-in. Once again, Hot Wheels would have a hand in creating new schemes for independent trucks, one of which we will talk about later. Jim Benzick's Rolling Thunder would receive an all-new blue design for 2006 after its original diecast release in 2005. For 2006, Guy Wood would run Bob and Tom full-time, leaving the Taurus 4 chassis to run the Hot Wheels name for the rest of the year. It would run under Rob Nell, with another all-new scheme that looked really awesome. Dare I say, it was pretty hot.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Monster Mud driver Brian Winston would run the European Tour body for Hot Wheels in Anaheim as a one-off deal on his Monster Mud chassis, where he won freestyle with this incredible save. For the 2006 World Finals, Neil Elliott drove the truck once again. While he did make it all the way to the semifinals, he would break a CV joint and ultimately could not fix the truck in time for freestyle. For the international tour, John Seasock would run Hot Wheels on the original Inferno chassis. Interestingly, the truck would switch between the Inferno name and Hot Wheels multiple times throughout the tour, even going as far to run Hot Wheels at one show and then switch it to Inferno for the other. This is mainly apparent for the creation of the most disgusting iteration of both trucks that I have ever seen in my entire life. Don't get me wrong, guys, short wheelbase trucks can be cool. Gravedigger 7, it's like the Mona Lisa. Jurassic Attack, it's like a perfectly cooked steak. This thing, get that shit out of my face. Anyway, once again, Hot Wheels had another hand in redesigning another independent truck, this time being Scott Hartsock's Gunslinger. Like many other names we've mentioned so far, the diecast predates the new design, with the real-life truck debuting in 2007 and the Hot Wheels toy coming out in 2006. By the end of 2006, Chuck Warner was campaigning the original High Roller chassis, which he would run into the new year. In conjunction with Warner's Hot Wheels, Frank Krimmel would convert the former Del Scorcho truck into the second Hot Wheels, running the European body for the entire season. The truck looked a little cleaner than that thing. Probably best helped by the subtle touch-ups to the scheme and the fact that it wasn't running on a 16-year-old truck. Jesus Christ. For the World Finals, Neil Elliott would once again run the truck, although interestingly, he would switch between Krimmel's and Warner's truck during the event, running Frank Krimmel's truck for practice and Chuck Warner's for the main show. Yet another string of bad luck struck Elliott and the Hot Wheels team, as with a round 2 exit along with a fire in his truck would leave him unable to compete for freestyle again. However, leading into 2008, the truck would be absent from real-life competition, despite the diecast line continuing to be fruitful for both Mattel and Monster Jam. In 2008, the Hot Wheels truck was no more. Krimmel had moved to the all-new Donkey Kong truck, and Chuck Warner started campaigning Bulldozer on High Roller. It didn't entirely matter too much, because Hot Wheels still had a great partnership with Monster Jam with their flourishing toy line and was still designing new schemes for independent trucks. Trucks that were given a new scheme for that year consisted of Steve Sims' Stone Crusher, Jim Benzick's Rolling Thunder, Dan Evans' Destroyer, Darren Basil's El Matador, and Jim Hofstadter's Freedom Force. It is also speculated that Rap Attack, Bad News Travels Fast, and Anger Management were also new schemes created by Hot Wheels, though this is unconfirmed. As well as that, interestingly, 2 of Monster Jam's flagship trucks would have their designs influenced by Hot Wheels. From examining the diecast line, the fan favorite maroon El Toro Loco seems to derive from the diecast line, with the toy from 2007 looking very similar to the real truck that debuted a year later. In addition to that, the truck gained its yellow horns and strayed away from the white horns with the red tips it's been using since its inception. Maximum Destruction was the other that was influenced, and the changes that were requested by Hot Wheels are unclear at this moment, and judging it based on the toy line doesn't give us any clues either. From 2009 until late 2011, there were no signs of a new Hot Wheels truck on the horizon, but the Diecast line continued to evolve and sell well. The 2010 to 2013 Diecast line has been hallowed as some of the best of what the Hot Wheels and Master Jam partnership had to offer. They would start introducing other extra items into their 1/64 Diecast line in 2010, those being the Flag series in that year, the authentic Monster Jam tattoos in 2011, the Topps trading cards for 2012, and the crushable cars in 2013. Though I will say calling them crushable is a stretch, considering these cars were harder than reinforced steel. In saying that, during this time, more independent trucks would have new schemes created by the company. Gunslinger would receive yet another new design that predates the real truck. Even crazier was Ricky Brantley's Pure Adrenaline, which utilized the Hot Wheels design that was released in the Diecast line all the way back in 2005. However, in late 2011, something big was brewing from the Hot Wheels team. Team Hot Wheels has been touted as a memorable and notable campaign from the Hot Wheels brand that began in early 2011. It was a multimedia series consisting of a variety of merchandise like toys, video games, books, and videos, but also real-life events where famous stunt drivers like Tanner Faust would perform stunts like the world's longest jump in a four-wheeled vehicle, as well as the double loop dare. With such daring acts like these, you know Team Hot Wheels' sight was set on the world of monster trucks. Team Hot Wheels was set as one of the 6 new trucks that debuted for the 2012 season. Its design was vastly different to that of its predecessors. A new, more aggressive body style was in place, with an extended cab, 3D teeth on the grille, and even a small wing on the back of the truck. The wrap itself featured the Hot Wheels logo branded across the side, with some yellow and red flames on the front, and an array of colors on the rear. This new truck would debut with Dan Evans behind the wheel, campaigning the truck on Cam McQueen's Nitro Circus chassis. The truck would be invited to compete at Monster Jam World Finals 13, this time instead being driven by Neil Elliott. It would run on Neil Elliott's Max D during that time, Max D5. During the weekend, an important feature was added to the truck, being a slight change in the name. When the truck was first announced, a naming competition was also revealed, with the winning name being announced at the World Finals. Names like Moto Mauler, Jaw Crusher, Wrecker Breaker, and Gasket Case were included in the vote, but ultimately Firestorm was the winner. And with that, Team Hot Wheels became known as Team Hot Wheels Firestorm from that event onwards. Firestorm continued to be driven by Dan Evans for the Path of Destruction events in 2012. However, by the end of the year, Evans was ready to transition to an all-new ride. While Dan moved to the newly revived Blue Thunder for the 2013 season, it would be former Iron Man driver Scott Buteau taking the reins of Team Hot Wheels Firestorm for the new year, continuing to use his Iron Man chassis to run the name for the new season. The truck had an all-new look, emphasizing more of the yellow tones while still keeping its original design. Buteau seemed like a very well-fitting pick for the truck. He was super down to earth and was great at promoting the Hot Wheels brand both on and off the track. Not only that, but he was a phenomenal driver out on the track too, which helped him earn an invite to the Monster Jam World Finals in that year. While he was knocked out in round 1, he would finish 7th in Freestyle, which is a pretty good result in just your first World Finals. Post-World Finals, he would compete on the Path of Destruction Tour, Monterrey, Mexico, and the final ever show at the Minneapolis Metrodome in December of that year. For 2014, it was much of the same, although in February of 2014, he would receive an all-new Generation 2 CRD chassis that he would run for the rest of the season. Once again, Buteau gained another invite to the Monster Jam World Finals. It was another fairly solid night, an unfortunate night in racing being defeated in round 1, but a second place finish in freestyle with a strong run was definitely good for the Hot Wheels brand. After World Finals, he once again appeared on the Path of Destruction Tour, as well as both shows in Mexico. In 2015, it was much of the same for Scott. He would participate in various stadium and arena events for the first quarter, as well as take home his very first stadium freestyle win behind the wheel of Hot Wheels. He would compete at the World Finals once again, though this time would finish 26th in freestyle and be eliminated in round 1 of racing. After the World Finals, he would compete in some speedway shows, the Path of Destruction Tour, Santa Clara, and even get to tour internationally on the Australian Tour that year. This was also my very first time seeing Buteau live, and boy oh boy was he impressive. With 2016 on the horizon, I'm not sure many were ready for the year that Hot Wheels and Scott Buteau had in store for the Master Jam fans. In 2016, Buteau would have a career-defining season in Team Hot Wheels Firestorm. He would win in various arena events during the first quarter, as well as in Anaheim and New Orleans that year. Once again, Buteau received an invitation to the World Finals and had another strong performance in freestyle despite the round 1 exit. His placement in freestyle, at least in Buteau's mind, was controversial, given that he laid down a very solid run and a record-setting 3 backflips in just 1 freestyle run, and he only finished 5th. Regardless, his post-World Finals season would see him win more than 1 freestyle competition. In fact, Buteau went on an insane winning streak with freestyle wins. He started in East Rutherford, then he won again in Nashville, Foxborough, even bringing his streak to the land down under, as he would win in Brisbane, both Melbourne events, and Adelaide. While his streak would end in Sydney, he continued to win events throughout the rest of the season, winning freestyle at Perth Show 2 with an unbelievable run, with an incredible save and a backflip to wheelie, and then again in St. Louis when he returned to the United States. Australia wasn't the only country that would get to see Team Hot Wheels Firestorm that year. In fact, a second Hot Wheels would run certain events in Europe during that year, and Buteau himself ran many events with some of the teams that competed in Australia. Scott Buteau would run Hot Wheels in Osaka, Japan. Morgan Kane would run the truck in Manila, Philippines. Alex Danielson would campaign the truck in Rotterdam, Netherlands. Chad Fortune would drive the truck in Frankfurt, Germany. And Brandon Vinson would drive the truck in Stockholm, Sweden. In 2017, Scott Buteau would compete on the FS1 Championship Series West, where he did relatively well. His only win during the season would be in Atlanta Show 1, where he would win wheelies, but finishing 7th in your first points championship out of 14 other drivers is pretty impressive. Interestingly, he would trade his Generation 2 CRD chassis for a Generation 1 CRD that was formerly Todd LeDuc's Metal Militia. For Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Alex Danielson would run an altered Hot Wheels for that show, which was the original Firestorm design that did not feature the skull seen on the rear of the cab. Buteau would be invited to compete at that year's World Finals. However, the team had something new in store for the fans. For the event, Buteau would campaign a very special design for Hot Wheels. This new design was radically different to what we had previously seen with any other Hot Wheels, with the chrome body, purple logo, and greenish yellow slime pouring down the side of it. It's been given a lot of different nicknames, some calling it the graffiti design, others calling it the slime design, or more comically, the cheese design. I think the slime design will do for now. During the main events, he would finish 5th in freestyle and finally make it into round 2 of racing. His freestyle being highlighted by the simple fact that he would break his own record, nailing 4 backflips in just one run. Had this not been the night when Neil Elliott and Lee O'Donnell set the world on fire with the reverse backflip and the front flip, Buteau could have easily been in the running for the World Championship. Post-World Finals, Buteau again competed in various stadium and speedway events. Syracuse would mark the final time the fans would ever see the original Hot Wheels Firestorm body, as from Santa Clara onwards, Hot Wheels would run the World Finals slime design. However, 2018 would be an intriguing year for the Monster Jam and Hot Wheels partnership, sometimes for the better, and for the other times, for the worst. In 2018, Hot Wheels celebrated their 50th anniversary, a monumental achievement for the brand. To celebrate their new milestone, Buteau would run a very special 50th anniversary scheme for the 2018 season. This time, it was a split paint job design, with half of the truck being wrapped in a metallic blue and the other half in gold. The teeth in the mouth were gold as well, with the "Since '68" phrase plastered all over the truck. It had the original Hot Wheels logo from 1968 too, and many other brand significant Hot Wheels features that really made this truck pop. While I wasn't really a fan of the gold side of the truck, and honestly thought the truck would have been better off just all metallic blue and leaving the gold accents for the teeth, I thought that this was a very fitting looking design for this truck. Partway through the season, the truck even started running red beadlocks, a callback to the red line tires seen on many rare versions of Hot Wheels toys. Once again, Buteau would receive yet another chassis, this time being a new Generation 3 CRD. He would campaign the 50th Hot Wheels anniversary truck on Stadium Championship Series 2, and would also be invited to compete at the Monster Jam World Finals. Like last year, the team had once again had another special scheme prepared for the fans. The world was introduced to the Hot Rod Hot Wheels design. This body was drastically different to any Hot Wheels truck seen at this point. For starters, it resembles more of a car body than anything else, specifically a Plymouth Superbird. While the paint was a lot simpler, it still had a lot of Hot Wheels symbolic designs on the truck, with its iconic orange loop on the top of the truck and the 68 number plastered on the side. And in my honest opinion, I honestly think that this is the best looking Firestorm truck out of all of them, and dare I say, I think it's the best looking Hot Wheels truck that competed in Monster Jam. Unfortunately, this event wasn't his best performance, as he was eliminated in round 1 of racing. Again, though he did finish 11th out of 32 other competitors in freestyle, which is still pretty impressive. Like last year, post-World Finals, he would continue to run the name in various stadium events. It would soon be revealed in events that are very important to the history of both companies that Hot Wheels would be leaving Monster Jam, both from a licensing standpoint with their merchandise and a competitive standpoint with their truck. Buteau continued to run Hot Wheels up until its very last show in Minneapolis, Minnesota on December 8th, 2018. But why would Hot Wheels, who seemingly had a strong relationship with Monster Jam, pull out of their lucrative deal? Or was it Monster Jam who wanted new beginnings? Well, that, my friends, is what we will cover in part 2 of this evolution. So stay tuned for the continuation of the evolution of Hot Wheels. as we delve into the inception of Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live and the sour ending to a once thriving partnership between Hot Wheels and Monster Jam. Mattel began a course of bad faith conduct. Mattel secretly and deliberately undersupplied Monster Jam products to retailers. Monster Jam is going to war with Mattel.